So how do we approach infant sleep in a way that is respectful, nurturing, and responsive? The foundation of improving infant sleep is aligning ourselves with realistic expectations and goals through education about understanding what truly biologically normal infant sleep looks like, understanding your baby's unique needs and your family's needs. In this way, you are also able to have a realistic understanding of your specific baby, lifestyle, and values while also getting your own needs met. So let's dive right in. Understanding night wakes. It is normal for babies and even toddlers to wake up at night for all sorts of reasons, from hunger to thirst to needing connection and more. It is also really normal for babies to wake up more when they're going through developmental progressions or dealing with illness or teething, separation anxiety, and of course when they're learning new skills. Sleep is not linear, and it is normal if your little one was sleeping longer stretches and then has periods of more frequent sleep disruptions. At times, sleep can be improved and optimized in the ways that we are setting our little ones up for sleep. When we really tune into our baby's unique needs and optimize their daytime and their nighttime sleep, their environments and routines and rhythms, and everything that goes along to it, we do pave the way for our little ones to be sleeping those 10 to 12 hours overnight when they are developmentally ready for it. Babies have very different sleep cycles from that of adults. Sleep is a biological function, and babies have shorter sleep cycles and are designed to wake more frequently. There are excellent reasons why this difference exists between our sleep and our baby's sleep. For example, while adults can meet all of their own needs by adjusting their comforter or taking a sip of water and can self-regulate themselves, babies can do none of those things. For their own survival, they must be tended to at night. Our bodies rely on two separate mechanisms for sleep: the circadian rhythm and sleep pressure. Circadian rhythm is related to time. At the time of your baby's birth, their circadian rhythm is very immature, which leads sleep to be often evenly spread throughout a 24-hour period. As our baby's brains mature and with time and exposure to natural light and activity levels, our babies begin to be able to decipher the difference between days and nights. According to the time of day, there is also the release of alerting hormones, cortisol, and sleeping hormones, melatonin. So if we attempt to get our babies to sleep when they are not sleepy yet, it can be significantly more challenging because their bodies are not telling them to go to sleep. You end up working against biology. When your child is born, they also cycle through two stages of sleep: active sleep and quiet. These sleep cycles are very short, and this is good and important. This is both protective against SIDS and allows for optimal feeding. Babies need to eat frequently, both day and night, to support the massive amount of brain development that they experience. It is during the newborn stage that your child develops at a faster rate than they ever will again. Again, sleep is typically spread fairly evenly throughout a 24-hour period due to the frequent wakes and the feedings that occur, but also because of their immature circadian rhythm. This only begins to develop around 12 weeks. They are designed to wake up easily and sleep less than adults in order to prevent harm or death. Their stomachs are also so small that night feedings are necessary for at least the first year, even to 18 months and beyond. They sleep in short cycles of active sleep to also aid their developing brain. As your little one grows and becomes more efficient with eating and their stomach capacity increases, they may be able to sleep longer stretches. Sometime between 6 weeks and about 3 months, many babies begin to consolidate their sleep and get some of those really nice longer stretches. However, this doesn't always mean that it happens at night. It also doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to last quite a while. Sometime between the age of 2 months and 6 months, but most commonly around 4 months, often called the 4-month sleep regression, baby sleep cycles begin to mature and change. Their sleep cycles go from those 2 stages to include 4 sleep stages. These sleep cycles are often about 45 to 50 minutes compared to adults, whose sleep cycles are anywhere from 90 to 120 minutes during the night. These sleep cycles gradually get longer throughout the first 3 to 5 years of life. The amount of time that a baby spends in each stage of sleep varies and changes in length. It is dynamic. Babies do spend more time in active sleep, which is a lighter stage of sleep. During this time, they're more easily woken. They also spend much more time in the active stage of sleep in the second half of the night. This is why you will often see a lot more frequent night wakes. While this can be frustrating and exhausting for parents and caregivers, active sleep is actually a healthier, smarter way of sleeping. Therefore, it is optimal for babies to sleep mainly in this active stage of sleep. It is a safety mechanism and very beneficial to their developing brain. This leads to the question, is consolidated sleep necessary for your child's development? This is one of the main justifications that we're given by sleep trainers and programs on a regular basis, that we are doing our children a disservice of not helping them achieve those longer, more consolidated stretches. But in reality, this claim could not be further from the truth and is not supported by science in any way. Night wakes are normal and they are shown not to be harmful or negatively influence development in any way. So no, our little ones do not need consolidated sleep. Quite the contrary, they are biologically wired to wake at night. They are designed to wake at night for comfort, calories, or connection, and it is not a sign of poor sleep or sleep deprivation. Infants sleep inherently different than adults. So while their night wakings may be incredibly hard for us as caregivers, it is not hard for them in any way. So we need to expect our babies to sleep differently from us for their own health. We know how vital night wakings are from a survival perspective. It helps babies signal to their caregivers for any of their unmet needs. It helps them get the nourishment that their tiny tummies need. It helps their developing brains and so on. And when babies have all of their needs met, both physical and emotional, and are developmentally ready to do so, you can be 100% certain that your baby will sleep through the night. Let's talk about sleep and feeding. So when your child is born, they have a very small stomach. They depend on small, frequent feeds to get the nourishment that they need. If you're feeding from your body, the milk is low in fat and easily and quickly digested. Again, this is perfectly designed biological function to keep babies close to their caregivers. And if you are formula feeding, your child still has that innate biological and attachment-based need to seek you out for comfort, closeness, connection, and safety. Now, it is common advice to cut out night feeds by a certain weight or a certain age, or offer a baby a significant amount of solid foods in order to minimize those night wakes due to hunger. However, giving your little one solids, switching to formula, or topping off with formula, or increasing formula feeds has not been shown to improve sleep. A large study found that regardless of how infants were fed, aged 6 months to 12 months, they still woke the same number of times. It is important that your little one is getting adequate calories during the day, and regardless of whether you're feeding from your body or with formula, that feeding is done responsively. Spacing, scheduling, or stretching the time between feeds is not a beneficial practice and is not recommended. Responsive feeding is ideal both for the benefit of sleep, for optimal feeding, and to make sure that your child is receiving the calories that they need. And even if you were to wean night feeds, this does not mean that your child is guaranteed to sleep any longer or better. Because in fact, if they are hungry and in need of those calories, it is more likely to result in more disruptive sleep. Some babies definitely will naturally drop feeds, either for alternate soothing strategies or when they consolidate sleep naturally, or go through different phases of more feeds or less feeds, and this is perfectly fine. However, it is helpful to maintain the expectation that your child will need night feeds throughout the minimum of their first year of life. So what about the argument that your little one is just feeding for comfort? Let's reframe this entirely. When was the last time you had a quick snack, you weren't quite feeling hungry, but you were thirsty or just needed a quick treat? Or even when you were bored, uncomfortable, feeling a bit blah, and thought, I'm gonna go grab a pick-me-up from the kitchen. We don't dismiss our own needs for comfort, snacks, or to eat as insignificant or less valid. And just like adults, this is even more so a real need for babies. Sleep is an entirely biological function that we can support as parents with healthy habits, responsive parenting, and ultimately understanding that sleep consolidation comes with time and development. Regardless of what you do or what you don't do, your little one will sleep through the night when they are ready to do so. Regardless of how often your little one wakes or how long they sleep at night, it is not a reflection on you as a parent in any way, shape, or form. And it is likely not something that you are doing or you aren't doing. Yes, we can support improved sleep with healthy habits and responsive parenting, but at the end of the day, it is not something that is even within our baby's control, much less our own control. And there are no such thing as bad sleep habits. Sleep props or sleep crutches, whether it's feeding, rocking, soothing, nursing your little one to sleep, doing any of those things will not create additional wakes. And they are certainly not the cause of any sleep problems. When we look at optimizing sleep, it is actually a huge part of it to look at these sleep associations and utilize them to our benefit to support longer stretches, layering on sleep associations that work for your family, support your little one, and bring them to calm.